off with the lanes. However, it's a lot, right? Because it really relies on their mechanics. Because Natalia, as an assassin, if you do well in the early stage of the game, you're gonna pop off. If you die like what, 2-3 times earlier, then it's not gonna do well. And yeah, Terrence, you called it. It is the dire off. Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, I'm definitely very, very proud. But at the same time, that's the beauty about flexibility, right? EVOS SG and Orange Esports, it's one of my 2 favorite teams when it comes to drafting. They always draft for intent, and when push comes to shove, they require to play a specific hero to actually execute the objective. They would force themselves to do it. And in this case, EVOS SG, they've pretty much forced the dare off. I like it, but it's going to be very, very difficult to pull off, especially against a Link.
What do you guys think about both of these compositions? Like, who do you think has the upper hand, to be honest?
I feel like EVOS, they have a more explosive draft. However, with an explosive draft, there is a lot of room for error. So they have a very tight window to really achieve their win condition. And the way that they want to win is, again, through Adammir, and then from Adammir try to snowball off other lanes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the game is on its way. This is going to be game 1 between EVOS SG going up against Orange Esports, and I'm looking forward to see who comes up on top based on this draft. But as of yet, we do see nothing much on the table yet, but I'm looking forward to see how well they are going to be executing involved. But we do see a little bit of engagements coming from JPL on the side to try and harass the Link.
Guys, I gotta ask, before we get into this, is seeing a Dairoth in that jungle position common in your regions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
common.
It's kind of okay. It's kind of okay.
It's at that stage, I guess.
Because this is so different to the Indonesian, but all as you can see here, already so much pressure here in that mid side.
Yep, at the same time as well, on top side, Esmeralda not having a pretty decent matchup against the 1v1s against Nick. Mid lane as well, Orange Esports going to be losing out a lot of these trades here, so they are going to be losing out a lot in this laning phase as well. And oh, the cancel coming from Seilah is going to force Mannn in a very, very difficult situation.
This is good, right? Because the composition coming in from EVO Singapore is in the idea that they should be able to be more dominant in that early game. They have better mobility, but the problem is here, JPL is just not going to let this slide.
Yep, Garyy now on the country as well, trying to go for the steals. He is going to be in a little bit of trouble. EVO is going to be focusing his mark. He's going to be able to get out safely, but his health is a little bit too low, so he's going to be losing out in his jungle rotation so far from Orange Esports, and EVO's is going to be very, very happy about this.
Right now, actually looking at how EVOS SG is playing, they're actually controlling the jungle well, because looking at the pathing coming in from here, not only is he clearing his own jungle, but he's actually clearing Orange Esports jungle as well. And because of this, they can rotate a little bit faster.
Yep, in terms of rotations as well, we do see JPL actually getting caught up, and that's going to be Orange Esports getting first blood. Playing it safe, coming from Orange Esports has paid off. EVOS SG getting a little bit too aggressive with their plays. Mannn, however, is going to have a pretty okay time against this Savior. But as of yet, Horn trying to cut the lanes. He's going to be caught out by Nick as well as Gear. He's going to be able to sprint out to safety, so nothing much has lost. But EVOS SG is in prime position trying to contest the turtle as of yet.
Yeah, it turns out they are going to be rotating towards that area. Now Orange Esports, they need to make a call here. Are they going to try and take it away, trying to contest this, or are they just going to let this go? And it turns out the answer is they're going to let this go. But what can they get on the meantime, as EVOS, once again, with the turtle that they have already taken, will actually be able to get a pick off on the board as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a bang for buck coming from EVOS, and it looks like they're going to get a little bit more of the dare off. Also going to get the kill on towards the Ling, as EVOS SG just winning on all fronts and objectives.
This is how you play a fighter jungler as well as Natalia. This is how you should control the map, because your power spike is so early in the game. Level 2, you're going to be very strong. Level 4, even stronger. And right now, Adammir, as we talked about, he has to win his own lane, and he is. So right now, EVOS SG, they're winning a lot, even though it's just 2 kills. But look at how they control the game. Orange Esports, they have to figure out a way to slow down enough for them to get the farm in order to fight back.
Yep, it's going to be very, very difficult to do so. But as of yet, we do see Gear trying to make a little bit more attempt. But I feel like the biggest threat right now from EVOS SG is JPL. Look at his positioning. He's always keeping up so much pressure on Orange Esports, and it's so difficult to try and play this into a blind hero, which is so hard to spot out.
And that's the beauty of being a Natalia, right? That's the beauty of having a Natalia on your team. You always just have like this constant map pressure. Like, even though you're actually not there, it is going to be very difficult for Orange Esports, let's say, to try and look for initiative plays on the board.
Yep, Nick now to get harassed. He is down to his last health bar. He is going to be A-OK. Gear is going to be saving the day from EVOS SG. A big Abyssal strike hits on Garyy. He's down to his low, but seems like EVOS SG is a little bit too far off. But the Dawning Light comes in, cancels him off. He's down to his kill potential, and JPL, he's looking for the kill, but is he going to risk it? Unfortunately, he is debating if he wants to. Garyy is forced to go for the walk of shame to go home, and that is going to be so much space created by EVOS SG.
So much time wasted as well to just prevent that from happening, and this is huge from the side of EVOS Singapore. They have a lot to play with in that early game, and luckily enough, the Xavier has not yet popped off, so that type of pressure is going to be like stalled for a little bit more until he gets his really good items. But until then, Orange Esports, they still have a huge question mark on how to be able to kind of, balance the situation that we see right now.
Yep, EVOS SG is going to be focusing on Turtle. Orange Esports in no position to contest it. They are going to be trading off a tier 1 down bottom. Meanwhile, EVOS, they're still deciding whether or not should they force the issue. JPL, face checking on the side, says that this is not the right play because Orange Esports is going to go for the goal time as well because they are going to pull Seilah in the vicinity. Spring comes in, they don't have the finisher. Garyy's going to overcommit to this day. He's down a little bit too low, but the rest of EVOS is going to be on the side to snipe him off, and they take him out. And that's going to be 2 down from the side of Orange Esports as EVOS SG played that perfectly.
Atlas is such a hit or miss type of hero. Sure, if you can get all the Fatal Links onto the really core members, then that's great. But unfortunately, he missed that Fatal Links on, of course, Adammir, and therefore they were just really punished for that type of situation. And it's hard because Orange Esports, they need to look for these plays, but they need to make it perfect or not EVOS Singapore will capitalize on it.
Honestly, in this situation, I'm surprised by one thing. I'm surprised that EVOS SG, they don't have a bigger gold lead. Because I feel like in this type of play, they should be getting around 3,000 or about 3,500 kind of gold lead. But Orange Esports, they're still finding ways to get the goal. And I would say it's partly because of Born. He's actually controlling the EXP lane still pretty well, even though Gear has ganked him multiple times. So Orange Esports is still in an okay position. They can still recover from a 1.8 deficit.
What I wanted to touch on that is the fact that EVOS Singapore, sure, they've gotten pickoffs on the board, but have they been able to convert this onto objectives? No turrets have been taken from the side of Orange Esports, and that could definitely play a factor in what we're seeing on the board right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Orange Esports is definitely playing the split push potential as much as they can to try and capitalize on the situation. But so far, EVOS SG, they are in prime position. They understand that they are in the lead, but the only reason why they're losing out is because Born is non-contested, and now they are going to try and force the issue. They're trying their best to kill him off, but Born is going to be in a very difficult spot as Gear takes him out. However, Gear, he's expended all his spells, but he's just got a huge level gap, and he is going to completely shut down Garyy as Orange Esports tried to force the fight and lost the trade-off.
Huge trade coming in, and it seems like they were looking for more, but fortunately enough, actually, it might not be fortunate because Mannn is going to be the next person that gets taken down from the side of Orange Esports, and that's 3 members down.
Yep, on the contrary as well, here comes Valenz. He finally shows his mark. He got the kill, and he gets the double just right at the last tick of the crossbow tanks. He manages to redeem himself. So Orange Esports, they're still trading 50-50s, but eventually the true core is going to be Valenz from the side of Orange Esports.
Okay, and we'll see what's happening now because both teams seem to be kind of like rotating and looking for the next objective, of course, but once again, JPL goes in.
Yeah, and at the same time as well, we are going to see the fights coming in. The Turtle is going to be up contested as well. The Dawning Light comes in, doesn't connect, but the Turtle will be secured by Garyy. And this is a big win from Orange Esports in terms of objective trades.
Yeah, right now, honestly, Orange Esports, they have to play towards their win condition, and I feel like that is part of the reason why they haven't really done a lot of rotations, because they need enough damage items to really make any kind of engagement coming in from Minnn fruitful. Because I feel like, okay, you can catch someone, but if we don't have the damage, it's not really going to matter too much. So I feel like that is part of the reason why they haven't really tried to fight back. They're just trying to claw for any advantage that they can. Once Minnn gets a very good pickoff, then they're going to try something. If not, I'm going to look at Garyy, because if Garyy can at least shut down Seilah or Adammir, it's going to be fine. But
yep.
Gear, I'm not so sure how they're going to handle Gear.
I agree, but Nick now is going to be caught in a very, very sticky situation. They've got a tier 1 up top, but Nick is getting free hits all the way through, gets pulled back with the Fatal Links. Eventually, the crossbow tanks is going to be there, and just enough damage to shut him down. It's EVOS SG not focused in that situation. Meanwhile, they're going to try and force a tier 1 up top. JPL is going to be in the vicinity. He goes for the 1v1 against Valenz, and he takes him out. Garyy's still alive, but the tower damage is going to be too much, but this is taking a little bit too long. They get the shutdown, bought enough time. Here comes EVOS SG from the sides, and Gear will shut them all down, and Garyy needs to make a run for his life.
2-for-2 trade there, and I can honestly say that Orange Esports, they're playing it quite well. I mean, what initially was, 3,000 and it was 1,000 at some point, has actually shrunken down to only 300 in advance in that economy. So Orange Esports, they're catching up real quick, and as this game goes on, it will favor Orange Esports in the fact that I do believe that EVO Singapore will start to fall off.
It's actually interesting because looking at the gold, Adammir as well as Valenz, the difference in terms of gold is actually just about 100, 200, so it's really not that much. And again, Orange Esports as well as EVOS in terms of gold is roughly the same, but in terms of damage, Adammir and JPL is doing a lot, 28,000 as well as 27,000, but Valenz is slowly catching up. And once Valenz hits his 3-item power spike, it's going to be very problematic for EVOS SG to really contest him if JPL doesn't shut him down early.
Yep, we're heading towards the late game stages as well, as the first Lord is going to be coming in. EVOS SG, they're getting desperate to force a fight, but eventually, if they do not close out this game as quickly as they can, Orange Esports' power spike is going to hit them very, very hard into the later stage of the game. We do see a little of harassments coming in, but EVOS, they're afraid to lose the middle turret instead, and Orange Esports, they are going to force the issue. Minnn goes for the fatal link, pulls them back, gets a 2-whack catch as well, as Orange Esports completely obliterates them. The Abyssum Strike coming in from EVOS SG is going to be able to retaliate as they lose 2 for 2, and the fight will continue as Nick slowly runs them all down. Mannn is going to be A-okay, but Born is going to be left alone on this Esmeralda. He's pretty tanky, but is he going to be able to tank up 3 heroes? He's buying a lot of time. He's going to be A-okay, but he's still surviving.
What?
The shield's coming from Born.
What?
He's making a lot of space.
What?
He's going to return and get the kill in Orange Esports. He turns the tide and comes up on top.
2-for-3 trade, and Orange Esports actually are able to come out on top of that one. That was a huge 100 IQ play from the side of Born, being able to buy so much time for the side of Orange Esports and actually win it out in terms of trades.
Oh, that was huge, but Born, he's a little bit too low. Can they get the retry fight? But here comes the Fatal Link to stop them and track. The Link secures the Lord, but Orange Esports, they need to make a run for it. Born still somehow survives. They will sacrifice Minnn in the process, but EVOS SG, they're a little bit too low because here comes Valenz as he comes to clean out the rest of EVOS SG. Adammir and Seilah comes to save the day, but they are a little bit too low to try to force the fight.
Yeah, the Wind of Nature making sure that Gear does not take out Valenz, because actually the burst damage could take out Valenz, so it's good that he has the Wind of Nature. In fact, we're going to look at the replay over here, and this is part of the problem coming in from the side of EVOS SG, because they have a lot of engage. They don't have a lot of disengage. Their composition is all in, so once from the side of Orange, they can capitalize and making sure that they can catch a lot of people. They can dish out a lot of damage. However, they have to respect the damage coming in from the side of Adammir, because at a very, very narrow spot, he dished out a lot of damage.
Oh, this is huge coming in from Orange Esports, but now with this first lot, they finally get a little bit of redemption points against EVOS SG despite being oppressed for so long.
But look at the tides just instantly shift into the favor of Orange Esports, right? We mentioned this. EVO Singapore, they needed to close the game as soon as possible. Unfortunately, that wasn't able to be executed by them, and now Orange Esports, they have finally reached their power spikes. Valenz, we mentioned time and time again, being such a reliable gold laner. He barely was punished in that early game, and now he's kind of lifting off and looking for that power spike to start to happen. Orange Esports now sitting with a 3,000k gold lead, really taking it away once again from the side of EVO Singapore.
Yeah, looking at the itemization over here, we can look at Valenz. He even has the Brute Force Breastplate just to make sure that when he does accidentally get caught out, he should be fine. However, I do want to see whether Seilah can potentially deal a lot of damage, because he doesn't have a lot of magic resist now.
Yeah, I really like this decision making coming from Orange Esports, right? They realize that this is their current power spike, and they're very disciplined about it, because EVOS SG, they're not out the game yet, because eventually the ultra later stage of the game, which is probably about 2 more items to come, this is where Seilah comes from line. And EVOS SG, you can see rotations being made from JPL to try and stall out the game so that Seilah hits his level 15, and that is where you see the true potential of what Xavier brings to the table.
100%, 100%. I completely agree with you. EVO Singapore, they're definitely still in it to win it. They do still have that scaling from the side of Seilah, and there are a lot of heroes that can pick it up, but look at this happening as Gear, as actually was trying to initiate something, but he gets taken down.
Yep, Adammir now is going to try and make a run for it as well, because the rest of Orange is coming in, but the red are coming in from Adammir. It's going to trade Garyy his life, but he will lose his in the process. Nick is going to be trying to buy a little bit more time. Seilah trying to win his 1v1 fights, but in the contrary, JPL is struggling to kill off Valenz. It's just so slow. The crossbow attacks coming in from Valenz is going to be enough to shut him out. And EVOS SG overcommitted a little bit too much, and they are going to pay the price as of yet.
Yeah, 1-for-3 trade just like that, just that quick, and that is the beauty of having a Purify when you're going against someone like the Atlas. I think we've seen in this tournament that people tend to overestimate the ability that they can have and underestimate the beauty of the Fatal Links, and as well as underestimate that Purify spell to be able to get yourself out of those sticky situations.
Speaking of sticky situations, as we talked about, EVOS SG, they have a very bursty kind of composition. It's very dynamic, but again, there's a lot of room for error. Right now, here is showing weakness in the sense of using a Dyrov. He's super strong in the early stages of the game, but then it comes to a situation where he can't run away from Atlas. So either way, right now, Gear is not offering a lot for his team.
Yep, seems like they are going to try and force the issue as well. The Lord will be secure. Gear, he's going to be trapped out as well. He committed a little bit too much spells, and he's trying to tank his way through, but eventually he will get shut down and isolated from the team, and EVOS SG can do absolutely nothing to save him.
Wow. Wow, this is just beautiful plays coming in from Orange Esports. They understand their own type of, the way that they want to play it, the way that they have to play it, and the way they have to execute it. And that is the beautiful thing that we can see from the side of Orange Esports. The execution is definitely there. You can see the synergy coming in from Minnn with the Fatal Links, as well as an insane, beautiful follow-up coming in from Garyy as well, with the Tempest of Blades to, of course, finish it off. And now EVO Singapore, they're sitting at the back foot.
Yep, it seems like the Lord is going to be knocking onto his inhibitor. EVOS SG, they've got to do everything they can to fight the fight, but seems like Orange Esports, they are forcing it down bottom. A big Dawning Light comes in. He's not going to do too much as Orange Esports is a little bit too strong. The middle inhibitor is going to fall as Orange Esports, they will respect this and back out. They don't want to overcommit losing Garyy in the process just because he's down.
Unfortunately, we can see that Orange Esports, I feel like if they really stacked up their minions a little bit more, they could have done it a little bit more cleanly, especially when you put into consideration for the side of EVOS. The fact that they have Xavier, even Garyy himself could use their Abysm Strike, they can clear the minions pretty fast. So if they want to do that again, they have to stack the minions pretty well and then sync it up to make sure that once they do go inside EVOS SG base, they're not going to die that quickly.
Yep, definitely as well. Nick, he's going to try and face check it. He does have the capabilities, but Orange Esports looks like they are going to try and swarm the face. Back show being used from Mannn is going to keep him alive, but looks like this is going to be a forced fight. But crossbow attacks from the Valenz has been proc, takes down the Beatrix. Adammir is out of the equation. The EVOS SG needs to make a run for it. Meanwhile, from the back line, JPL is going to try and get a little bit of a freebies here and there, but Seilah is going to be caught out on the sides, doesn't even prop the Dawning Light, and he also falls out as Orange Esports completely runs EVOS SG over.
That might have been a mistake from the side of EVO Singapore. I mean, a 1-for-2 trade in favor of the side of Orange Esports, and they may be able to put a little bit more pressure there in that top side as, oh, he looks like he was going to go in, but unfortunately was not able to get that. But that tower goes down, and that's just going to be one more inhibitor turret to the hands of EVO.
Yep, here going to be forcing his desperation fight as well. He does have the immortality. Abyss is right, trying to clear the minions, but Orange Esports, they say they're going to focus on the heroes. Nick is going to throw his body all over them, but Orange Esports Valenz is still standing strong as he wants to close up the game. Adammir is alive, but the minions has been cleared off, and Orange Esports is forced to retreat.
Yeah, looking at this, EVOS SG, they have opportunities, but they want to capture Minnn going overextend. But right now he's going in. I think they're going to end this now.
Yep, the Fatal Link comes in, is not going to be doing too much. Valenz is just completely ignoring the fight, focusing on the crystal, and they will take game 1 against EVOS SG.
Game 1 for EVOS SG in that first game, and it's going to be interesting to see what kind of changes that they make to the roster, to the dynamic of what they brought to the table, because we mentioned from the get-go that EVO Singapore had such clear winning conditions, and unfortunately because they couldn't capitalize on it, what was their plan B in that type of situation?
Oh, that was very, very difficult. They needed stall time for